Hello and thank you for joining us for the Year 11 Parental Information Evening. My name's Miss Tansy and I have the pleasure of being the Year 11 Progress Coordinator this year. So firstly, some key dates in this important year for Year 11. Parents' Evening is on Thursday the 14th of October. We're hoping to have Year 11 photos this year and we'll update you on this date. The first set of mock exams will start the week beginning Monday the 22nd of November and they'll receive the results for these before Christmas. There are some actual subject exams starting in January and February and their subject teachers will ensure the students are clear on when these are and they'll receive their exam timetables before these dates. There is a second round of mocks on the week beginning Monday the 14th of February and the final exam season of the year starts the week beginning Monday the 19th of May. We also have our Leavers Assembly and Prom and I'll be in touch soon with a letter to give you these dates and all the information that you need. So at the Heath we offer a range of study support sessions after school for students to attend. These usually run from around 3:15 to 4:15, but if it differs the class teacher will make sure that the students are aware of this. On Monday we have available art, OCRPE, business studies, science, RS and French. Maths on a Tuesday. On a Wednesday separate science, Spanish and child development. On a Thursday English and Friday geography, separate science and history. If there are clashes for certain students on certain nights, then they need to manage their time and prioritise which subjects they need to go to at certain points in the year. Their teachers will also be able to help them in deciding which subjects they need to prioritise. There'll also be lunchtime intervention offered and students will be told this by their class teacher. So if they're worried they can't attend after school, there might be a lunchtime session available which they could attend instead. As well as students attending our after school study sessions, it is important that students are also revising at home. This ensures that knowledge and understanding from both lessons and intervention are embedded and will also help students to identify key areas within topic areas which they may want to cover again or focus on further. It's really important that they have a space at home to revise and the equipment that they need. As well as working hard in lessons, attending intervention sessions and revising at home, it's really important that the students don't forget to take some time for themselves. Whether that's through exercise, going out with friends or visiting family, it's really important that they maintain a healthy health and well-being as well as having a healthy and balanced diet. Being successful this year is obviously key for our Year 11s. It's really important that they're working with the staff. They've got a great team around them of form tutors, of subject-specific staff who are all willing to help them. It's key that students are asking for help and taking that mature approach when they need the support. Lastly, that peer support is vital this year. There are key areas and key points in the year where students will feel more stressed. So it's really important that we work together and support each other at them times.
Hi, I'm Mr. Swindlehurst. I'm the Assistant Progress Coordinator for Year 11 and I'll be talking about the importance of attendance and punctuality in Year 11 as well as the passport to prom. Attendance is directly linked to achievement in education. Students who have greater attendance perform significantly better in their exams. At the Heath School, we ask the students aim to have an attendance of 96% or greater. Rewards are given to those students who have excellent attendance each week and at the end of each term. One of the main problems with poor attendance is the increasing number of lessons that are missed. Students with less than 95% attendance will have missed over 45 hours of lessons during the school year. We aim for high attendance to reduce the number of lessons being missed. Students will fall behind in their classes and it'll be on those students to ensure any work that is missed is caught up with. It's important that students are proactive and stay on top of their work in their final year and the run up to their exams. You should have received a letter from the school detailing the changes to the COVID-19 self-isolation. The letter explains that people who are under 18 years and 6 months or people who are fully vaccinated will no longer need to isolate if they come into close contact of someone with COVID-19. Instead, you are advised to get a PCR test. It is important that students are made aware of these changes and continue to take lateral flow tests at home twice per week until the end of September. Along with attendance, punctuality plays an important role. Being punctual to school and arriving on time to lessons means students are in a position to start the day with a positive mindset. They will hear all important messages from myself, their progress coordinator Miss Tansy, and their form tutors. And as they get closer to their exams, it will give those students time to attend early morning revision prior to the school day starting. To ensure punctuality is maintained to a high standard, if a student is late twice in a week, a letter will be sent home and an after-school detention will be issued. To encourage excellent attendance, punctuality and to promote health and well-being, we hold a number of different events each week, such as football in the mornings before school on the AstroTurf and a social morning where students can meet with their friends. These events start at 8:30 a.m. and run until the end of registration. After the Christmas break, the school will implement a passport to prom. Prom is something that all Year 11 students look forward to, and the passport to prom provides students with criteria to meet, such as good behaviour and attendance in after-school revision sessions in order to attend prom. More information will be shared with students at a later date. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions or require more information, please do send me an email.
Hi, this is Mrs. Spencer. I'm just going to take a few minutes to explain to you what English will look like for Year 11 students this year. Year 11 are working towards two qualifications, English language and English literature. The exam board we use for language is Educus and the exam board we use for literature is AQA. There are no tiers in either qualification and everyone will sit the same paper and it's a 100% exam. In language, there are two exams. One paper will be literature reading and creative prose writing, and the other paper will be non-fiction reading and transactional or persuasive writing. And you'll notice that that second paper is worth slightly more than the first. In the literature qualification, currently they will be entered to sit this paper on Macbeth, their 19th century novel, which is A Christmas Carol, a modern drama, which is either An Inspector Calls or Blood Brothers, depending on your child's class. And then there's the poetry anthology, and then there's the unseen poetry element. Now, as it stands at the moment, AQA are currently going through a consultation period with Ofqual and looking at the possibility of reducing that literature paper due to the disruption from COVID over the last 18 months. We don't know anything more at this moment in time. AQA will update us as and when that decision has been made. After school intervention takes place on a Thursday after school for English, and these sessions are planned to support gaps in their knowledge and also to go over content that has been taught previously in Year 9 and Year 10, interleaving both literature and language skills in the same session so that they have got a wider breadth of coverage in those sessions to make them as effective as we possibly can. In terms of homework, students will get a substantial amount of homework from English this year. Most of it will be revision based to support upcoming mock exams or in-class assessments, but it will all be tasks which are set to help support and prepare them for their upcoming exams at the end of Year 11. There are many different revision guides that you can buy to support your child in Year 11, and these are some of them. The York Notes revision guides are particularly good because they also have a workbook that goes alongside. That's the one in the green that goes alongside the revision guide. I would say that it's really important, if possible, that your child has a copy of the text. So at the moment they are studying Macbeth in class. We are selling these for £2.50, but you can purchase them from elsewhere. But it just means that they can make notes and annotations in their own copy and then use that to help them revise ready for their exam at a later date. If you have any further questions or concerns regarding your child's English, then please contact me on the email address that's on this slide at spencerc@heathschool.org.uk. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mr. Riley and I'm the Head of Science. First off, I'd like to just quickly go through the course structure in science because there are several routes that you can take, and just to remind you of that, because the way that you will prepare for examinations and also the different structure of assessments that you'll need to be familiar with. So first of all, we've got the separate science route, where you've got separate grades for chemistry, physics and biology. And the key thing to realise for that is that you are preparing for 1 hour and 45-minute examinations. So you'll have 6 of those at the end of year 11, 2 each for each of the disciplines. And you'll get a separate grade for each of those. So your grade for chemistry won't influence your grade for physics. If you are doing the combined science route, it's also known as the trilogy route, because there is another synergy route which we don't deliver. Ours is the trilogy route. Then you will still take examinations in physics, chemistry, and biology, but they will all contribute to a dual award grade. You see some of those examples on the right there. And it means that it's worth 2 GCSEs. Because it's a combined route, how well you do in physics will influence your overall grade. So inevitably you will have some stronger subjects, some weaker subjects, but it's important that you focus on all of them because they all contribute to an overall grade. Obviously, for many of you you've got courses that you want to do at college and they've got their entry requirements. This dual award grade can contribute to 2 of those. So it can be very important for you getting to do the things that you want to do. Finally, we've got the entry level course route. You'll probably know it as the ELC. So if you've been studying that in year 9, you'll have been doing a lot of portfolio work. So you'll have had a folder of work together with some assessments that you've been doing. It'll be good to know that at the end of year 10, you will already have a science qualification, and we'll do a presentation of that for you. So you'll be safe in the knowledge that you have a science qualification already. Now that has also prepared you to be able to do the foundation route GCSE level course. And that means that you are going to be taking some of the skills that you've been doing on the ELC route, and you're going to also have a go at the GCSE. So hopefully you'll end up with 2 science qualifications at the end of that. So I've just mentioned there the foundation route. There are 2 tiers to the science course, foundation and higher, and they have different examinations. And this means that you end up with different levels of grades being able to be awarded to you. So on the foundation route, you are able to get grades 1 to 5. So the maximum grade is a 5. And on the higher route, the grades available to you are grades 9 to 4. Now it's important to note that if you don't achieve a 4 on the higher tier route, then you will get a unclassified grade or a U. There are no grades 3 and below. So what are the differences between those? Now, there are minor differences in content. And what I mean by that, there will be some sections of the course, for example, in physics, you only study momentum in detail on the higher route. But the biggest difference is in the style of questioning. Whereas on the foundation route, you'll be asked to recall information more. And so for students who like to have the certainty in knowing that I'll probably be asked to remember certain parts of the course, certain bits of the content, and you'll be more familiar with the questions when you see them. Now on the higher papers, you're more likely to encounter questions which require to interpret information you've never seen before, maybe apply something that you know in a context, a scenario that you haven't seen before. Now, some students find that very, very challenging, or it makes them feel uncomfortable in that exam situation. And again, we will help you to make this decision about what the correct route is for you. But it's important that you understand these different routes do end up with different grades. Okay. So, what will be really important for you over this first term here as we gear up to preparing you for those terminal examinations at the end of year 11, which will come round soon enough, is that you will take assessments at set points. No matter if you're studying the different routes, so even if you studied ELC last year, or you're doing foundation or higher, or some classes will be studying chemistry in September and some classes may be studying physics. But you will all sit assessments on the same date. So that's something new for science this year. So on the 29th of September and the 9th of November, all classes in science will sit an assessment, even though they'll be different depending on the class that you're sitting. So to make this easy for you, the revision list for each of these assessments will be associated with your class, both on class charts and on Teams, and these will be available from the beginning of the term. And they'll cover all the things that you've studied in that 6-week block, so the units that you've studied there. But it's also important to note that it will include sections on prior topics. And this is gearing you up to the fact that when you sit your terminal examinations, you'll be asked about questions from all the units. And this is really encouraging you to build up those skills and revision techniques where you're constantly revisiting things that you've studied before. Now, the details of the series of lessons that you will study in this 6-week block are going to be available to you before you even study them. And so what that means is that you'll be able to catch up work if you're absent. We'll be looking, even though your teachers will aid you, we are looking for you to be proactive in this, for you to take ownership of your studies. And it also means that you can preview topics using your revision guides. Maybe science is something that you find challenging, and just having a flick through your revision guide, simply reading through and having a look at some of the key words, some of the ideas that you come up across in the lessons that in that 6-week block, can mean that when you go into science lessons, you feel that much more confident, and that's something that we're deeply encouraging you. So on to revision in science and the revision techniques. Now, your other teachers, and I believe Mr. Dance will also talk to you about revision techniques generally, but just to look at it specifically within science, there's a number of challenges. One, as we've already mentioned, you've got those 6 papers that you're going to be sitting. So there's a significant amount of content to remember. These revision guides that we recommend that you purchase, there's a lot of information in there. But it's not just about recall. You've got skills to learn and to practice there. So for example, you've got to be able to draw a line graph. You might have to be able to calculate the gradient from the line graph. You might have to describe the pattern in some results or do a calculation. It's not about remembering something. It's about practicing a skill. You're going to need to know the steps of that skill, and we're going to teach you those in the lessons, but you'll need to practice those at home as well. We mentioned before about the higher tier papers especially. There might be some knowledge that you've practiced remembering, but you might have to apply it in a different context. And again, this is a case of practicing these things. You need to start early to make this challenge more manageable. There's going to be revision sessions on weekly, which we will give details on through each of your classes. And if you start now, then the challenge seems more surmountable. You need to know that we've got different revision techniques as well for these different challenges. Something that you will have already probably encountered in science lessons is that we've looked at revision clocks as a way of helping you remember key ideas from each topic. And this is all about recalling content, and that's just one aspect of science. If you only did that, then you won't be as successful as you could be. That needs to be reinforced with exam question practice, or possibly using the revision workbooks that accompany these revision guides, where you practice drawing a graph or you practice doing a calculation, these skills that you've learnt in the lesson. Finally, make sure you get yourself a scientific calculator. Maths is a big part of science. There can be up to 15% of the marks on a science paper awarded towards numeracy skills. And you being familiar with your own calculator and how to use it can make life easier when you're in that pressure situation in the exam. All right, thank you for listening.
Hello and welcome to the Year 11 Maths Information presentation. A couple of key names for you. Head of Department, Mr. James, and Key Stage Lead is Mr. Silcock. If you do need anything, drop us an email or give us a call at school and we're always happy to help. So, Year 11 this year we'll be covering the topics which are below, and I will be talking about all the different ways in which you can help remember, websites you can use and things like that slightly later on in this presentation, but I'll just give you a second now to have a read through them. If you are in Miss Jones or Mr. Silcock's class, you are higher plus. If you are Mr. James, Mr. Graves or Miss Carmichael's class, you are higher. And if you are in Mr. O'Leary's, Mr. Jones, Miss Cowley, Miss Stanfield or Mr. Crane's, you are foundation. We're also going to be doing the Retrieve to Achieve, which will be spoke about across the whole school, but in maths we're going to look at certain topics which were taught during the lockdown or during the previous school year to help get them topics into that long-term memory. These will also feature on the homeworks, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Homework, two things you're going to get in maths. You're going to get a skills grid, which will contain skill 1, last lesson, skill 2, last week, skill 3, the last topic, which could be from 2 or 3 weeks ago, and skill 4, which is going to link in to that Retrieve to Achieve topic, which I've just spoken about on the previous slide. Again, giving you help to make sure it gets into that long-term memory. Also, you will get Hegarty Maths. When you log in, the top page looks like that, with your tasks right there. You then click on the task, you can watch the video, take some notes, get whatever you need to, then you do the quiz afterwards. You can always go back to the video, okay, and when you're on the quiz it clicks to the point in the video which you need for that question. Okay, and the questions look something like that. It will then give you instant feedback. You can ask your teacher a question, you can have another go at it. Okay, lots and lots of things on there to help you, again, secure that memory. So the homeworks are going to be based on what you were taught 2 or 3 weeks ago. Again, making sure we remember as much of the content as we can, ready for any exams. Useful website, really useful, Corbett Maths. Lots of topics, lots of stuff to help you. For each topic on there, you've got videos and worksheets. And if you look there, you can watch the video. There is practice questions, which are exam questions, and there is a textbook exercise, which is lots and lots of practice for that skill. Really, really useful. And if you're not sure on something, if you've watched the Hegarty video and you just need a bit more help, absolutely go on to Corbett Maths and use that. Important equipment you're going to need in maths this year: pen, pencil, ruler. Get one of these. They are your best friend in maths. That's got a compass, a protractor, a ruler, a set square, everything you could need. Okay, and they're not expensive at all. Main thing I need to talk about, calculator. You absolutely need a calculator. 2 of the exam papers that you do in maths are calculator papers. So that is over 60% of the content you need a calculator for. It is essential. Okay. At the Heath, we use the Casio calculators, which I believe are on offer at Tesco now. If you've got a club card, it's only £10. But if you're not sure which one it is, always get in touch with your teacher, Mr. James or Mr. Silcock, and we can point you in the right direction. Thank you for listening. And like I say, if you've got any questions about the maths department, please do get in touch.